Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Iconic Dollcast. My name is Sage, your host. Welcome back to another episode all about dolls. Today is Barbie Collecting themed. Today I have Samuel on the show, and Samuel is a wonderful Barbie collector, and we are going to talk all about his doll journey, his collector preferences, collecting tips, all that fun stuff. We're going to talk about the very highs and sometimes very lows of social media and so much more. I do want to say really quickly, this episode was recorded quite a while ago, and here's what happened. So somehow, instead of getting saved on my computer after I did this interview, it got saved on one of my external hard drives, and I had no idea where it was for literally months, but I happened to find it recently, so I'm really happy to be getting this out because Samuel really was so much fun to chat with. He is definitely a full-force Barbie fan. He's also so kind, and he also gets kind of sassy on social media when people come at him for no reason, and I love it. So I love that he is sassy, not that people are trolling him. You get me. Just a few more episodes left for the summer, you guys. Summer flew by fast this year, but I still have so much more to come. We're going to get into the interview. As always, please follow me on Instagram at iconicdollcast or Britney Spears Custom Dolls. You can follow me on TikTok at Britney Spears Dolls. And here is my interview with Samuel. All right, everyone. Today I have Samuel on the show, and Samuel runs the Instagram account. I am Samuel, and we're going to talk all about the positives and perhaps negatives of doll collecting. Sam, thanks so much for being on the show. Before we get into dolls, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to.
Okay, well, my name is Samuel. I am a doll collector who now lives in South Florida. I was originally born in New Hampshire, and I've loved fashion and dolls ever since I was a little kid. My first memory I really have is, like, my first true fashion memory is looking through the Vogue magazines and Women's Wear Daily magazines with my grandma. Since my grandma, she went to fashion school and she had a boutique in New York.
Wow.
So she's my biggest inspiration.
I love that. Did you play with dolls as a kid? Have you been collecting them your whole life?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played with dolls from age 5 to age 12, I think. And age 12 is when I made the shift from doll, consumer, like a child age who plays with dolls, to collector who just puts a doll on a shelf and admires it from afar.
Love that. And what was the first doll you ever owned?
The first doll I ever owned was the Princess Annika Magic of Pegasus doll from 2005 with the transforming dress and the light up wand. I actually have her in my cabinet over there. It's not my true original rendition from when I was a kid. It's another rendition of the same doll, but brand new in the box.
Okay, yeah, I've repurchased tons of my childhood Barbies just because they were not in any shape to be displayed anymore, as you can relate, I'm sure.
I mean, mine were in really good condition. I took really good care of their hair and stuff, and I never let anybody touch them, not even my mom.
Yeah.
So, I kept my hair on my dolls in really good condition even as a kid, and I don't really know where my childhood dolls are at this point. To this day.
Some of mine have been lost along the way. It's hard to keep track of them, especially when you're starting to get into your teens and your early adulthood when maybe Barbie is not our main focus, but we always come back to her. And that brings me to my next question. Is Barbie your main girl? Is that what you mostly collect?
Yeah, mainly Barbie with some Monster High here and there.
Who is Barbie to you and why is she so important?
Barbie to me is a representation of what we can be, which is anything. And when Barbie says you can be anything, I literally take that to heart because my dream job one day is to have a job at Mattel because I want to design clothes or maybe be a collector consultant. Because as somebody who's been a big follower and been really passionate about the Barbie brand for a number of years. I think it's, something that I would really enjoy, like basically giving perspective to the designers because I have a hand tremor. So I can't really do fine detail work or fine motor skills without my hand shaking a lot. So enlisting the help of some of my favorite and most idoled designers, to help bring some like basically tell them or give an idea of what collectors want these days.
And what do you think collectors are looking for today in Barbie?
I think maybe collectors are not necessarily looking for, the standard doll that we once knew and loved. Like they're looking for new ways of interpreting Barbie. The new Nori collab is a great example. The maybe new ways, new merch, new designs. There's also varying ways, like I think maybe fantasy dolls, a bring back of some of the fantasy dolls like the mermaids, the fairy princesses, maybe a Fairytopia reboot, maybe into like an animated series on Netflix or something with like updated Alina.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on where Barbie's at right now?
I'm mixed on some things because certainly, like when Toys R Us was open, at least in the States, Toys R Us was like the place where you could go anytime and their rewards program came into clutch, especially when you bought a lot of dolls. And there was just like a lot more variety and a lot more stuff to choose from than when you go to like Target or Walmart and you just walk in and you see the same dolls over and over again, in the same or similar play sets. It's just the same thing and the faces aren't always even and stuff. And I think maybe, like for example, like I think it is possible to give people what they want, like face sculpts they want, hair textures and fiber types they want, body types they want within a certain price point without having quality issues. And I think it's important that we speak on some of the quality issues, but not necessarily like because I understand completely like when you're given budgets and stuff, you got to work within them. But I just think there's like Mattel is proving to us that they can work within a budget, but I think they're creating some sort of scarcity with the
Oh
doll world
yeah.
because I see a lot of like international collectors especially, they say dolls are like 3 times the price and they're even harder to get. And there are some of my other international friends, they say that Mattel Creations doesn't even ship to their country anymore. And I'm like, I don't know why, because why don't they want to make money with as many countries as possible?
I totally agree with you. That is something that I've been noticing, not noticing for a while, to be honest, where it's like, obviously Mattel is a business and I do feel like
Right.
Mattel is a great business. They've been around forever, but I do feel like
I love
there's,
them dearly.
yeah, oh, me too. And like sometimes I just feel it's like, isn't the point of a business to make as much money as you can? And I feel like they lose out on a lot of that because they're not catering to international fans like at all, it seems.
Yeah, and same with like the merch on Mattel Creations. I noticed that it says USA shipping only, and I'm thinking like, why? It's a t-shirt. It's a mug. Why can't you ship
Exactly.
that to Canada? Why can't you ship that to Europe? I've ordered, tons of t-shirts from Europe and Canada all the time. So I don't know why it can't work both ways.
Exactly. And you'd think that they'd at least have like an international website, like maybe Mattel Creations Europe or Mattel Creations Australia, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I heard that there was a UK site that they just launched,
Okay, good, good.
but I heard that it's going to be even more like I don't know, like I'll have to ask one of my UK friends how much easier or difficult the drops have gotten for them since they don't have to order direct from the Mattel US site because I've also heard some things about packages getting lost or delayed or missing, and then they end up getting refunded and then they don't end up getting the doll.
Yeah, that is always a risk with international shipping. Just something that I've noticed is I make a lot of Britney Spears dolls for people who are not in the United States, and I always have to be extra careful with how I'm labeling things, and I always ask for
Right.
a signature from the person because once my package gets to France, you have no idea how they're going to handle that, and sometimes things do get lost, and that's with me
Mm.
being very specific, and I can't really see a huge company like Mattel really taking the time to do that. So I could understand why that would be concerning. But they need to get it together because I do see that a lot online of people really missing out
Yeah.
on things that they really want, especially like, I mean, you've talked about it a bunch on your Instagram. That new Midge doll has been like impossible for anyone to find outside of the
Oh, yeah.
US.
Yeah, I mean, I bought as many of them as I could across three Targets. I mean, I live chatted the Target thing, the customer service thing, and I asked them about inventory in my area with my zip code, and they just told me all the stores that had them, and I went to those stores first.
And that's a great tool. And I think that's maybe how because I found two of them. And I think one thing I talk about on the show a lot is, there's definitely a lot of positives and negatives about the doll collecting community. But I would say
Right.
one of the positives is definitely how willing people are to help each other out. And that is something that made
I
things
can
a lot
totally
easier.
agree.
Good. It made it a lot
Right.
easier because yeah, the Target chat thing is so helpful because I think you do get connected to a real person, but they will tell
Yeah,
you
you
what
do.
stores have.
Right. With the TCIN.
Right. So that's a really important skill for serious Barbie collectors to know because that is really how you're going to find these really hard to find dolls.
The
So,
chase dolls, as they call them, which Hot Wheels has been doing for years.
oh, have they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had, that's been one of their marketing strategies with like the rare chase, like rare cars. It says it on the bottom of the card or the car or something. It says it
Interesting.
like on the thing underneath.
Right.
Like where the car sticks out on the blister pack and then there's like a little space underneath on the cardboard.
Uh-huh.
It's like right there where it'll have like a little symbol or something. I don't know. I'm not a Hot Wheels collector, but I just heard in the Barbie Reddit that somebody's son collects Hot Wheels and that they have a very similar system that makes some cars more rare and valuable than others.
That doesn't surprise me. When we're talking about Barbie, do you have a favorite Barbie era that resonates the most with you?
Definitely the superstar era.
Okay, why is that?
I just love the bent arms, the rubbery legs, the smiley faces, and the 80s, big hair and poofy gowns. There's nothing like it.
Do you have a favorite Barbie of all time?
Probably, and if not, definitely Peaches and Cream from 1985.
Iconic. That's a great choice. I love Totally Hair Barbie.
I do too.
Yeah, she's the best.
I have a lot of Totally Hairs. I have every single one, like the blonde, the brunette, the black, I even have the Totally Hair Whitney, Totally Hair Skipper, Totally Hair Ken, Totally Hair Courtney. I have all of them.
So yeah, you have a very large collection. So when you're out collecting, what are you looking for? Where are you going? How does that all work out?
It honestly depends on what it is because there are some things where it's like I buy like on Facebook Marketplace where it's a random lot or it's like for example, I just happened one day to be scrolling on Facebook Marketplace and I saw that there was a pink A-frame with some furniture and a box of dolls for $50.
Wow.
I crapped myself when I saw that.
I bet so I just did an episode about like where the best places to find dolls are. And I think Facebook Marketplace is one of those places where it's like it's either hit or miss, but when it's hit, it's like pretty incredible
Oh
what you
yeah.
can find on there. And you just have to be, sometimes people get sketched out about having to drive somewhere and like meet up with a stranger and whatever. But I always tell people like the shit you can find on Facebook Marketplace is insane and generally will be a really good price. And
Yeah.
I love American Girl dolls. And I have found so many of them for like dirt cheap on Facebook Marketplace. And yes, I had to
Right.
drive a little bit to get them, but like it was worth it just for the price alone because I would have been paying over $100 more if I bought it online.
Yeah, and also, there was one time when I was on, Amazon, and I found a, the original hot skating Barbie from 1995, but the version that had the Japanese packaging instead of the American packaging.
Oh,
And
wow.
I found it on Amazon from a third party seller. They had it mislisted, and it was right before the Barbie movie came out. So I got her for 40 something dollars before shipping and tax.
Wow. And we all know what happened after the Barbie movie came out. I
Yeah,
mean,
the price of all the movie reference dolls like Hot Skating Barbie, Western Barbie, all of the reproductions from the 90s that were previously like dirt cheap suddenly had a huge influx in their price points.
yes, and that's been something that is still, I think it's getting a little bit better, sort of. I think that, obviously there's still scalpers and stuff, and that sucks, but it is something that we have to deal with constantly. Have you ever come across anything that has maybe either made you want to pull back from doll collecting or anything like that?
Yeah, certainly there have been times where I've had regrets with people who I've been friends with. And there's also times when I've been regretful of maybe buying certain things, having certain interactions. Like recently, I was scammed out of one of my number three Barbies on eBay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of those original Barbies?
No, I have a vintage cabinet, but that was my only number three, and I sold it for some money. And they ended up saying the box was broken, even though I literally videotaped the whole packing process.
Oh, that's annoying.
They said the box, like the box lid of the shoebox lid style box from the vintages, they said the bottom flap was missing when it wasn't. I had proof.
I would have
They
just been
thought,
like, okay, well, you can send it back.
yeah, I did. I opened a return claim and I sent them a label. They declined it and left me negative feedback instead.
Oh, that's shitty.
And I tried reversing it, but the eBay sided with them.
eBay is so sketch like that. Sometimes eBay, I feel like they have no idea what they're doing.
My mom tried telling them, that like I'm a respected member of the doll community. I have a following on Instagram. I literally posted actual proof to my Instagram and my TikTok. And people were saying like I was doxing him, but like I wasn't because the address he gave was to a shipping center and same with the phone number he gave. It wasn't his phone number. It was to a shipping center in New Jersey.
That's crazy.
So he was an international buyer who was trying to bypass eBay protocol using the global shipping program.
Right. That is
Since the doll was a pricey item, he was trying to not have to pay taxes and VATs and fees and stuff.
right. And you're definitely not supposed to do that. They're pretty
Yeah,
forward.
it's an expensive doll, like a number three is really expensive.
Totally. So I went to school for elementary education and we learned all about developmental disabilities. And I just feel like autism was one of the hardest areas to cover just because it
Mhm.
is such a wide spectrum. There's so many different levels and types of autism. But I
Right,
do feel like it is a common trait in the doll collecting community. And you kind of just explained why it's about kind of like a fixation type thing. Yeah.
right, yeah.
And first of all, I want to say props to you because I think what you do is lovely, and I wish more people were proud and open about that kind of thing. So I think it's really inspiring all the stuff you
Well, thank
do.
you.
You're welcome. Now I want to get into social media, and social media is kind of it's kind of one of the main focuses of this set of episodes. It's something that I'm talking to everyone about. So first of all, when did you get into social media?
Well, I got into social media when I was in high school and I did coupon deals. I was a couponer at one point during the height of the craze. I had a stockpile, I had a binder, I had all that shit.
Nice.
But then things got really hard. They started increasing limits. It started taking a toll on my mental health, so I stopped and I retired because the coupon community can be just as toxic, if not more, than the doll community.
And so when did you start your what do they call it? A dollstagram?
My Instagram, like it started in I want to say 2000 at the end of the pandemic, around 2021 ish.
Okay,
I had to look on my page. I don't remember the exact time.
that's okay. And with that, I mean, one of the things I always talk about is like, I really had no idea that there was a whole, like, I mean, I've collected dolls my entire life, and I had no idea there was like a whole doll collecting community out there.
OMG, right?
And when I
There are
started
people
my
all around the planet.
all around the planet. And when I started mine, it was just like very eye opening because I was like, whoa. And that's kind of what led me into getting into this show is I was like, oh my God, there's so many cool people that I want to learn from and talk to. But with that, I also found that while I do think the positives outweigh the negatives, the doll community can be at times pretty toxic. And this is something
Oh
you
my
are very,
god.
very open about. And I've
Right?
and that's great. And I think I respect it because I think a lot of people like to skate around that. So when I ask them like what are your thoughts on how, sometimes the doll community can be negative or how there are people who are just jumping on the trend train and all that stuff.
People are so hateful and they really just say shit just to say shit. There's some keyboard warriors.
That's yes, yes. And what I find is the most frustrating is like for instance, I just posted a Instagram reel about and TikTok about that new Gem in the Holograms doll, which is really
Oh,
cool.
I want to get that one.
And I think it's so interesting how people think if you find something like that, how all of a sudden, like, I'm supposed to know why they didn't give her light up earrings or why she looks the way she is. Like, it's my fault. The doll does not look the way they want to. Have you ever come across that?
Yeah, people are so vicious and negative for no reason. I mean, it's dolls. It's supposed to make us happy. I wasn't at the design meeting. If there, yes, there are things I would change about a couple dolls I like, but if you wanted them changed, change it yourself, be creative. The designers, at least when I've spoken to them, they encourage creativity. And at BarbieCon, you know, uh, last year, Bill Greening at his speech, said that, when people, make new look stalls, like the look stalls, into new ways he couldn't ever believe or conceive before, it makes him happy. Same with Angel Kent. He loves reposting dolls that people customize, especially the Odiles, he loves reposting them. I see all sorts of amazing takes on his work. It's all about creativity and fun, or at least so I thought, until I came here and people are like, "Oh my god," like, why are you so negative? Y'all are some negative ass people.
It is really wild. And like I said, it's so weird how like let's say I think one thing I see a lot of like the new Aaliyah doll people like it just almost seems like people who didn't get the doll are the ones to be like, well, I don't like
They're the
this and
first
this.
ones to, yeah, they're the first ones to cry crow when they don't get something, but as soon as they get something, they have a whole new change of tune.
Totally. And it's very like, I don't know. I just feel like anytime I post something and it kind of blows up like that, there's always these comments about things like that I have no control over. And I'm like, why
Take
are
it
you
up with the distribution team, hon.
Yeah,
I'm
why
not
would
part
I
of
know?
it.
Why would I know what why they didn't do this or that or why would I know why they changed her from the way she looked in 1986? You know what I mean?
Right. Oh my God. Like, take it up with the designers, take it up with the distribution team, take it up with whoever the hell you want to take it up with, but don't take it up with me because I got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, or like they'll be like, "Well, why can't I find it where I'm at?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea."
Somebody bought it.
Yeah, it's like I have no clue and so that's
Speaking
the
of Miss Aaliyah,
Yes, I have her too. She's over there. She's pretty. I have to be honest though, and
I love her.
I'm going to talk about her soon on the show. I think it's a great, as a doll, she's beautiful. But for me personally, I actually don't think it looks too much like her. And I know that I am the minority in that group. She's still beautiful, but I just, for some reason, I don't see it. And I know everyone else does.
I don't know. I wasn't around back then, but I think she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
And I love her articulation. I love her belly button rhinestone.
I know. I'm so glad they did that. So on my custom Britney Spears dolls, I always put the little rhinestone on her belly just because I'd never really seen that before. And when I got this doll, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, the fact that they actually included it without making us pay extra, bless Mattel in that regard.
Jeez, yeah, for real. But with the negatives, there's also positives. Like I said, especially when we're all out trying to find a new Barbie and it's maybe not supposed to be on shelves yet, but it's some places it is. It's like get on social media and like all the people will tell you what to do, where to go, and all that stuff.
Right, I love that. I
Pretty
like it
cool.
when people don't gatekeep stuff like that.
And yeah, there's a lot of gatekeeping too, which I fully don't understand at all, especially with like mass produced dolls. It's like, what?
Right.
You
Like
know?
they're gonna be released anyway. You might as well tell people where they are. You might as well just give people the SKU number, especially if they're not even in the same state as you. Like, why do you care?
Well, I think with that comes a lot of another negative aspect of the dog collecting community, and that is that I think now this is also one of our main topics this season on the Iconic Dollcast. It's there's a lot of people who do this doll collecting and social media for reasons that I think are not about loving dolls like the way we would. I think it's more about getting clicks and likes and follows. And I got to be the first one to get that Aaliyah doll. I have to post her first. And I mean, I'm sure you've seen just the absolute meltdown some of these creators, I put that in quotes, will have
Oh
because
yeah,
they didn't get
creators.
they didn't get something first, you know? And I'm like, well, that's not really what it's about.
Or when they get mad about not getting PR or a contest or something like that. And I'm like, these companies don't owe us crap. You
No,
should be grateful to get anything. Because otherwise, like you're just another person who gets dolls. You're another statistic in the doll collecting hemisphere, so to speak. The,
exactly.
the doll collecting universe, if you will. Like pay for dolls like the rest of us, unless you're like a doll creator who truly cares about the dolls, gives informative opinions and reviews and constructs on the doll itself, tells you what it comes with, goes into detail and in depth about it, tells you about the hair, what it needs to do, like if it comes with box hair, how to restyle it, that kind of thing, then I can see, yes, give that person a doll. But if you're just like a regular person, like I've seen, not to throw shade to the opposite end of the doll world when it comes to Barbies, Bratz, MGA, that whole Mean Girls thing was a disaster.
Yes. Oh, probably one of the worst doll rollouts I've seen ever.
Yeah, and they were sending them, like I'm not jealous of people who get the dolls, especially, like influencers who have nothing to do with the doll community. I just wish that, like for, companies, I wish they would focus more on the collectors rather than people who don't collect and rather than people who are just hype and stuff. Because like with those Bratz Mean Girl dolls, I've seen tons of people who got the PR box who have nothing to do with Bratz.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And I mean, it did cause a lot of uproar. I mean, I don't get on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it very often, but I did that day.
I deleted my account there. It was too much.
Very smart decision. Unfortunately, I have a business to run, so I have to keep it. But just the meltdowns I was seeing about that. But that's a valid point. Like they should be catering to people who have a true interest in these dolls because at the end of the day, those are the people that are going to give you the best critiques and the best information about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not just gonna be like, "Oh my God, MGA sent me Mean Girl Bratz dolls." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the whole PR thing is very interesting to me. I've had a couple companies reach out and I have respectfully declined because, when they send you these things, they want you to talk positively about whatever they're sending you. And duh, that makes sense. But I'm just not in a situation where I'm going to get on camera and say I love something if I don't. And I don't want to risk that. And I also don't want to, I'm willing to pay for the dolls that I get and I'm not willing to buy something that I'm not interested in just as like, even if they would send it to me for free, it's just like, no, 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 like send it to someone else who might respect this brand a little bit more.
Right. Like, I'm happy with whatever I can get whenever I can get it. If something comes my way, great. If not, then I'm willing to pay for it, and like the rest of the doll community, Mattel and other doll companies, whatever companies, they don't owe me anything. And I look at it like that, because if I think I'm entitled and like, oh, they owe me this, they owe me that, they're not going to give me shit. And, that's just greedy and rude and disrespectful.
100%. As an adult doll collector, I, for a really long time, it was hard for me to explain to people. Like, if someone asked me what I have a full time job, but then like they're asking me what I'm interested in, I'm like, oh, I run a Britney Spears custom doll business, and like it took me a really long time to be very comfortable saying that to people. And like, oh, I also have this massive doll collection. I have a doll room, and like now I'll tell anyone who asks, but I feel like
Right.
it took me a while to get here because it is kind of an awkward thing sometimes to talk to people about. So what do you think as an adult doll what's the most challenging thing about being an adult doll collector that you find, especially when it comes to other people who are asking you about your hobbies or your interests?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Point blank, period. Because you can tell someone about your doll collection, but they'll look at you, they'll block you, they won't talk to you, they'll think you're weird, bizarre, they think somehow you do something really vile and creepy. They think, you collect, like, I don't know, horrible things, teeth or something. I don't know. Like, as long as it's not hurting somebody, or it's not violent and grim, I don't care what you collect. I know people who collect Littlest Pet Shop. I know people who collect action figures. I know people who collect, you know, McDonald's memorabilia from the past, vintage gas station signs. I know people who collect designer bags. Like, if it's not hurting anybody but your wallet, who cares?
100%. And I also feel like out of all the things you can collect in the world, I do feel like Barbie's is kind of like so minimal. It's like there's really not a big deal about this. You could be, and I mean, it does get expensive. Let's be real. Our wallets are always hurting, but it's not like we're out there, collecting houses. You know what I mean? It's not like the most expensive hobby you could have.
Right. I mean, yeah, I have to go back on the designer bag things on a tangent a bit. I have a couple designer bags, and they're nice to have, but they're not necessary.
Right.
And, that's another interest for another day.
Yeah, and
And I'm still getting into them slowly.
some people might look at dolls and say, "Well, you didn't need to have this," but it's like, yeah, but you didn't need to have whatever you collect. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a very
Yeah.
I love to twist it around. I mean, for real, like most of the times when I'm speaking to new people about the dolls or whatever, they're pretty interested and they're like, they want to know more. But, sometimes there's always that one person who's just a little bit like, huh? And I like to spin it around
Right.
on people all the time. Like, well,
Like, how is it any different from what you do?
yeah. And that's what it's
You
all
know what I'm
about.
saying?
Yeah. And it's like, as long as you're happy, like, I don't know. I do find that it's mostly people that are not happy who have issues with that kind of thing. As a doll collector, what is the most recent doll you purchased?
The most recent doll I purchased was actually a combo of the Aaliyah doll and several of the 45th anniversary Black Barbies.
Oh, she's
And I
pretty.
have a few of them over here. I have like a bunch because I plan on like redressing them.
Oh, she's so
I have
pretty.
Yeah, I love her so much, and I love Kitty Black Perkins and all her work. I actually met her at BarbieCon last year, and she is so nice.
Do you go to BarbieCon frequently?
I go to it every year.
Amazing. I've never gone. I can't afford it, but if I could, I totally would.
Yeah, my first convention was 2023 in Orlando, and that's actually what got me started on Silk Stones.
Ah, the
Barbie fashion
Silkstones.
model collection silkstones, which are my favorite types of Barbies aside from the superstar ones.
Do you have like a specific room that you put all your dolls, or are they just kind of scattered everywhere?
They're all over the place in my house. I
Love it.
but the main place I keep a lot of my dolls, or at least my pride and joy ones, is my bedroom,
Love that. I
which
mean,
is where I am right now.
which is the best place to have things like that because it's where you spend most of the time when you're at home. Have there been any dolls that what's a Barbie that you don't have yet that you're like one day I will own this?
The Karl Lagerfeld Barbie.
Okay. Okay. Why is that one so cool to you? I mean, obviously
It's
it's
Karl,
it's
yeah.
amazing.
Probably because it's a platinum label, meaning there is no more than 1,000 worldwide, and they're all individually numbered on the certificate. And I just love the look. It's just so cool. I love the packaging. I love the leather look of that doll is just so fierce.
It's pretty damn cool. Pretty
And it's
amazing.
the first doll to use the Carl sculpt, which is where it got its name from.
Valid, very valid. What do you think? Well, I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. Like, what would you like to see more from Barbie in the next, let's say, like 5, 10 years?
More silk stones.
More silkstones. You like this? Yeah, I like them too. They're so heavy. Every time one. So obviously, I'm sure you're familiar. Every once in a while, you'll hear a loud like, and you're like, "What was that? What was that?" And you're like, "I know what it was." And I find my
Right.
silkstone Barbies fall off the shelf all the time because they're much heavier than
Right.
a regular Barbie. But every time I hear like a smack on the floor, I know exactly what it is.
They're so distinct and amazing.
They
Like
are.
these ones, I got two of these on Mercari recently for $75 a piece.
Wow.
And it's my favorite lingerie one, the number 6.
Gorgeous.
And these are like perfect for redressing and just about anything and everything. I have one redressed in a, I don't know if you can see her over there, but she's in a navy blue. She's in the 65th anniversary Sapphire Edition Barbie outfit.
Wow.
The Not the Sapphire Edition Barbie outfit, but like the black silk stone with the blue outfit. She's in
Mm-hmm.
that outfit, this one. And she looks so
Gorgeous.
good.
I love that.
The navy blue.
Do you ever get into Ken? Do you collect any Kens?
Oh yeah. I have a lot of Kens, whenever possible. I have the California Dream Ken over there. I have the wedding Ken from like I have the whole Midge wedding day gift set right there. I have the Dia de Muertos Kens. I have the Moschino Ken from the Moschino Ken gift set with the Barbie from like the rainbow pants and stuff. I have some movie Kens up there, some repro Kens from 2009, 2010-ish. That was a really good year for repros.
Yeah, it was. Who's your favorite friend of Barbie?
Definitely Christy.
Ever, of course.
Either Christy or Steffi or Kara.
Ooh,
They only made a couple Karas. They made
right.
free moving Kara. They made quick curl Kara. They made ballerina Kara. And I think there was another one. Yeah, quick curl, free moving, and ballerina. And they go for a good amount of money.
Oh yeah. What's one? Think about nostalgic dolls. What's one that you would love to see a really good reproduction of?
I would like to see a really good reproduction of Jewel Hair Mermaid Barbie.
Oh my God, yes. I love. Where is she? They're back there. I I love the jewel hair mermaid. I love the Barbies with the really long hair. I don't. I'm
Right. Or maybe make a reproduction of Totally Hair Barbie, but in the brunette version and the black version as well.
Yes, that would be great. And look, especially because the AA versions of those dolls are so hard to find. Well, they're not hard to find, but they're so expensive. I have not caved in
Yeah,
yet, but
they are.
totally hair Barbie and jewel hair mermaid Barbie. I would love to get the
I
AA
just got
ones.
I just got one of the Jewel Hair Mermaid AAA dolls in the box on Mercari, and you'll never believe how much I paid.
Oh my God, how much?
150
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, it is,
for
but
her.
it's not like
Like
I
I've seen her go for 400 and up new in the box.
yeah, oh for sure. For sure. Those get up there. So that's great. Amazing.
Right, and I already have one in the box that's like in the most flawless, perfect box ever with the original Kmart price sticker on it. She stays in that plastic wrap she came in. I don't let anybody or myself even touch her.
I would
She's
love
just so perfect.
I would love to see them do like a pack of 5 dolls from like each decade, and each one has like a reproduction of like for the 90s. I would love to see Jewel Hair Mermaid, Totally Hair Barbie, Working Out Barbie, like just a pack of like
Dance
5 of
moves
them.
Barbie and hot skating Barbie. Oh my God, that would be so amazing.
I just think that'd be cool.
I also would like to see some more Barbies that are like playline but with like a purpose, like they do something. Like Dance and Twirl Barbie, Bubble Angel Barbie,
Oh,
Bubble Mermaid Barbie. Like dolls that have a purpose, like Talk With Me Barbie, but like work out the kinks of like cybersecurity stuff and
right.
stuff like that, so that like if it's like for kids and stuff, it can't be hacked into by creepy people.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened with the other doll that they had.
Yeah, I just feel like they've really lost their gimmick, and I loved how they Barbie, and we were talking earlier. You're talking about Toys R Us. I always talk about how like none of these kids today will know what it's like to experience walking into
Yeah, but
Toys R Us.
the try me button, right then
Yeah,
and there.
and just like all these cool Barbie, you could go to Toys R Us and like they had a aisle of Barbies, but it was two sides and like hundreds of them, and they all did
Something
something.
unique.
They all did something special. Bubble Angel Barbie, that's a great one.
And the mermaid one,
Yeah, or like
when
the
you
foam
squeeze the tail.
Barbie.
Ooh, foam and color Barbie. Yes, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
It's just fun, and I feel like that's where Barbie is kind of lacking today, where it's like, where's like the fun part?
Yeah, I mean, they have a few things, like slime and stuff, but like that just gets messy and disintegrates and stuff. And collectors don't want that.
Mm-mm.
I realize that it's for kids, but what about the future generation, like it's just going to end up in a toy box or on Facebook Marketplace in a bin for 20 bucks.
Oh yeah, totally. And
I see tons of millies and modern stuff for 20 bucks on Facebook in my area.
I mean, and at thrift stores, that's all you'll find mostly is Millie dolls, which is I like her. I think Millie has got a great face. I think she's got a diverse face that you can do almost anything with, which is
I
cool.
think
But
she has a lot of potential if you repaint her right.
yeah. And like I said, like you can glam her up and she looks amazing, or she can be just as dull as any average person. And I think that's kind of what they're going for. But I am interested to see if she starts getting phased out more and more and more over the next year or so.
I really hope they make Odile the new sculpt because she is the moment. She is that girl.
Yeah, we'll see. That's going to be interesting. I do see them incorporating her a lot more, and I do see them bringing back a lot of old molds as well. And I think they're kind of testing the waters with that.
Yeah, like with Steffi on the Midge.
Yeah, so we'll be interested. I'm interested to see what Barbie looks like in the next few years because I think they're trying to go back to their a little bit at least. They're trying to cater to the old because I mean everyone knows adults are buying more toys than kids are these days. So I think they're testing the waters and we'll see
Right.
what happens.
Yeah, and like for example, that fairy Millie, that just came out. I actually really like her.
Oh yeah, me too. She's cute.
That's one of the few Millies I actually really like because I think it got the Angel Kent treatment. And yeah, it did get the Angel Kent treatment. So you can, and it shows.
Yeah, and that's not to I also like current Barbie. I love how you can go to the Barbie aisle at Target, and I know like you said it's the same in every Target, but I do like how you can just go buy any Barbie for $10 and like they have so many options for you. I loved the 65th anniversary dolls that they were doing. I think those
Right.
are incredible. Cheap, very cheap, but for what they are, like a great
They're a great
dolls.
starting point
Yeah.
for a child.
Yeah.
And if you can rebody them on a made to move or a model muse or something even better.
So I love Totally Hair Barbie, like I
Right.
said, and I loved the 65th anniversary one. So what I did was I just rebodied her and rerouted her, and she's great. She's crazy cool.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Isn't that cool? I was
That
like,
hair, she's got
oh
inches.
yeah, she does. It's so long. Her head's a little bit heavy, but that's all right. But like,
That's not like totally hair length. That's like jewel hair mermaid length. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Uh-huh. So it's just fun because, like I said, I went to Target. I bought that doll for $10, and I bought some hair for $10, and then I had an extra made to move Barbie, and I just put it together. And I was like, see, this is like you were saying, the creativity aspect can still really come out in these new Barbies.
Right. I
So.
think like there's a lot of potential for not just improvement, but just like reworking what's already been done so that way it can be more appealing and presentable to a wider range of people.
And you can also do it without spending a fortune. Like I said,
Right.
she maybe cost $20 to make. So, and plus time, but like. Well, Sam, thank you so much. This was such a fun conversation. Thank you for being so kind and open to talk about yourself. I had a great time. Please tell everyone where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on Instagram at I am Samuel with 4 L's. Don't fall for the original. You can also find me on my backup page, which is I am Samuel 2, I think. It's a profile picture of me in an orange shirt. And you can also find me on TikTok and YouTube, all at I am Samuel with 4 L's.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and we'll keep in touch.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Samuel, so much for coming on the show. I really had such a fun time talking with you and getting to know you, and I am literally so glad I was able to find this episode, even though it was lost for a while. Thank goodness. Next week, you guys, I have a doll collector, Chad, on the show, and Chad has a really diverse and fun collection, and he also does a lot of cool thrifting and doll hunting videos on YouTube that I love, so definitely look out for that next week. As always, if you're enjoying the show, please give me 5 stars. Leave me a nice review. It really helps. Follow me on Instagram at iconicdollcast or Britney Spears Custom Dolls. Follow me on TikTok at Britney Spears Dolls, and I will talk with you guys next week.